I'm here. Thanks, Sailesh.
Okay. And let us know who else is the
So whatever grandmother would like to come up, could you raise your hand and we can bring you up?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Yeah. Just raise your hand. And I'll start talking while the grandmothers are coming up. So welcome everyone to this amazing convergence of the people again, where we gather together and share lots of information, but we also support each other, and that's what the grandmothers are doing. We're supporting each other with our wisdom and our fierce love for our grandchildren of all species. And we do this in many, many ways. We meet every week. We write letters, we share ideas, and some of those ideas are going to be shared today. And, grandmothers are always joining the Million Being Grandmothers, so you can find us on climatehealers.org and join our community. And it's a great support system to know that we have all this understanding of how things should be, how the grandchildren of all species should be treated. And when we're able to debrief and talk and take creative action, as we've heard through this whole convergence, it's about taking action. It's about taking action. I've heard that in every presentation. And so the way to move grief through our body is to feel the shock of what has gone on and feel the deep compassion and empathy, and then move into creative action. And that's what we do here. So thank you everyone for being here. And I would like to start Judy Carmen. And Judy, we were speaking of you earlier about your book because there was a presentation on Ahimsa with Hanama Das. And it was on Ahimsa. And I said, you need to read Judy's book, Homo Ahimsa, who we really are, because we are Homo Ahimsas, and we are born as children of compassion. So thank you. Charity, would you like to join us also? We would like to play your video. Charity is a new grandmother member. And Judy's going to start out by reading the pledge and the declaration of the Million Vegan Grandmothers. And then we're going to start out with Charity's video. Charity's a new member, and she did an amazing video that we're going to play. And then the grandmothers are going to share for a few minutes on some of the new stories they're telling, or some of the games that they're playing in the world that are a little bit of an upgrade from some of the games that other people are playing that create oppression and suffering. So thank you. Go ahead, Judy.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about the lighting. I'm at my grandchildren's house, and this seems to be the best I can do. So, hi, everybody. This has been quite a day. My goodness, all of the talks and the amazing information that we have gained from today. Thank you, Sailesh, as always, for putting this together. I thought I'd start out by reading the Vegan Grandmother's Pledge and Declaration, just for anyone who hasn't heard it already. And it's a beautiful, beautiful statement of who we are as grandmothers, but also everybody has an inner grandmother. And so we're speaking for everyone, I believe. I want to start out by saying, for anyone who it doesn't know, although I imagine everybody here does know now today, that Ahimsa is Sanskrit for non-harm, because I mentioned Homo Ahimsa in this pledge. It is our Ahimsa pledge. I pledge to honor and protect all the animals, peoples, and Mother Earth herself by joyfully embodying and promoting an infinitely sustainable, cruelty-free vegan lifestyle that heals the climate and restores right relationships in the true spirit of Homo Ahimsa for all generations to come. So that is our brief pledge. And then our declaration is as follows. This is the Million Vegan Grandmothers Declaration. We, the million vegan grandmothers and wisdom carriers, join together using the power of love, love for the children and grandchildren of all beings and for Mother Earth. Welcome are all people, regardless of gender, age, and official grandmother status, who align with the values of veganism and this declaration. That was my grand dog. We affirm the right of all beings to live in a natural, toxic-free environment, which allows all to thrive and to lead sacred, liberated, sovereign, and joyful lives. The power of our love is unstoppable, and I think I speak for everybody here. We do not allow this planet and all who live here to be destroyed. We are creating a vegan world of peace, freedom, and loving kindness for all. We believe that the true nature of human beings and our highest calling is to be kind, compassionate, nonviolent, and partners with, not dominators of all life. We believe this is the time of the great awakening of humanity, to leave behind the destructive nature of Homo sapiens and become who we have always been destined to be, and that is Homo Ahimsa. As vegan grandmothers, we are here to midwife the birth of the new compassionate human and bring in the new era of a vegan ahimsa world, so that our children and grandchildren and those of all species can thrive and be free. So that is our declaration. And I just had another little thing I wanted to share. I have been reading from the woman Myrtle Fillmore, who was one of the founders of the Unity teachings. They did not call it a church back then, and this is at the turn of the century, 1900. I'm talking about that century. And they were mostly vegan, as near as we can tell. They called it vegetarian because the word vegan wasn't invented until 1944. And this would have been 40 years before that. But Myrtle healed herself from TB and some other things that she doesn't mention. Back then, TB was a death sentence. But she found healing, and that is how Unity Church kind of evolved out of her healing, because people wanted to know, how did she do that? Now, she was a grandmother. She was a mother and a grandmother. And so I kind of think of her as one of our vegan grandmothers. And even though we're talking about a new story, she was talking about a new story back then, a long time ago, when a lot of people were still deeply involved in progress, and domination and exploitation. She was looking at life a whole different way. So one of the things she said is, and this applies to our grandchildren, your essence is divine. And I'll read this little paragraph here. This is written by someone about Myrtle. She said, Myrtle's fifth step, she's describing a bunch of these steps on healing, is the only destination possible. If you know you truly are an expression of the divine, if you keep your thoughts focused on the power of the infinite within you, and if you remember health is your natural state, then what could you be but one with all that is. The more you practice this awareness of being one with all that is, Myrtle said, the more powerfully it lives in you. It becomes part of your self-image and your expectation for living. You feel at home within the great whole and absolute good. God as love and health reigns supreme in you, Myrtle said. It's who and what you are. And I think that she's describing Homo Ahimsa, and that part of what I'm talking about in the book and that we're all talking about is not just the physical actions that we can take, but also the spiritual growth that we are involved in now to understand what's really happening here on the planet, and take this divine power that we have and put it to work to save all life on the planet. So I just wanted to share that from a vegan grandmother from way back. So thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, Judy. Would you like us to play your video you asked us to play right now, or would you like us to end with that, Judy?
Maybe end with it, I'm thinking.
Great.
If there's time.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Judy. We're going to start out with Charity's video then. Charity, could you just say a few words about your video and how it came to be? It's just such an uplifting, fun video, and a little bit about music therapy and working with children, because that's what us grandmothers are here for, working with the babes. And yeah, thank you.
The babes. Yeah, hi everybody. So great to be here. I'm so glad I found the Million Vegan Grandmothers and Climate Healers. Yeah, so I'm a children's musician, and I write and record lots of music for young people and the big people who love them. And as you know, a vegan myself, I over the years have started putting more of that kind of intentionality and those messages into the music in ways that I feel might be, received and absorbed, and just, another version of kindness and compassion, as we know. And the video that I'm going to play for you is off of my last album, which is called Creatures and Critters. And I every once in a while rewrite old nursery rhymes, sort of upgrade them. And I figured Old MacDonald had a farm needed a major upgrade. And so I rewrote the song to be about a sanctuary farm. And I just, yes, Rebecca. And I just wanted to say too, that I literally on Earth Day put out my first all vegan song album for kids. So I'll put a link to that in the notes, and that has a whole bunch more songs about this stuff, and, try starting this conversation, right, with children, but also with their grown-ups, and how can we make this an inquiry, and how can we make everybody feel included in the conversation so that it's actually we can have movement. And that's what I'm trying to do as an artist, is to use my those skills to sort of be a voice for the animals in the earth. So yeah, so we're gonna this video was filmed by Tony Segal, who his company is called Silver Reaction Media. He's an awesome vegan documentary maker in the Bay Area. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we went up to Charlie's Acres and got a bunch of footage. And also he had footage from other farms around the Bay. And so there's quite a lot of amazing footage of beautiful animals and just different amazing sanctuary farms around California. So you'll see some of that, and yeah, you'll know the song, but you'll hopefully appreciate the upgrade. So great. I'm going to share my screen.
And Sailesh also has it to play it as well. Charity, do you want to?
Yes, if he's got it ready, let's just do that.
That would be great. Sure. And then when the first meeting that Charity joined the grandmothers, she was grappling with the cover of her new album, and she had it sorted after the first meeting. So, when two or more get together. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so it would be lovely if we could see that, the album cover too, before we're done. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm lived her animal friends, E-I-E-I-O. Oh, she saved one here, she rescued one there, protected and took care of them, made a safe haven. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a cow, E-I-E-I-O. With a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a pig, E-I-E-I-O. With an oink-oink here and an oink-oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink-oink. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a goat, E-I-E-I-O. With a man here and a man there, here a man, there a man, everywhere a man. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a chicken, E-I-E-I-O. With a cluck-cluck here and a cluck-cluck there, here a cluck, there a cluck, everywhere a cluck-cluck. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a sheep, E-I-E-I-O. With a bed here and a bed there, here a bed, there a bed, everywhere a bed. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a turkey, E-I-E-I-O. With a gobble gobble here and a gobble gobble there, here a gobble, there a gobble, everywhere a gobble gobble. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old Mac's farm is a magical place where the animals have plenty of air, light, and space. They are healthy and happy and safe and warm, and no one's gonna eat them or cause them any harm. They're free to love each other and run and play just like people wanna. We're really the same. Hey, maybe all farms could be this way. Maybe all farms could be sanctuary farms someday. There's a happy duck going quack, quack, quack. There's a happy dog going bow, wow, wow. There's a happy horse going neigh. There's a happy cat going meow. There's a happy donkey going ee-haw, ee-haw. There's a happy rabbit going nibble, nibble, nibble. There's a happy rabbit going nibble, nibble, nibble. With a nibble, nibble here and a nibble, nibble there. Here a nibble, there a nibble, everywhere a nibble, nibble. Hee-haw here and a hee-haw there. Here a hee, there a haw, everywhere a hee-haw. Meow here and a neigh there. A bow wow here and a quack, quack there. And a gobble, gobble here and a baa there. And a cluck, cluck here and a meh there. And an oink, oink here and a moo, moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo, moo. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Yay. Thank you, everybody.
So much. So amazing.
That was so
Yay.
uplifting. Thank you.
All those animals. Oh my gosh. They're just so amazing. Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat in case people want to share it around. And Tammy, how do you want me to show the album cover that the idea came from the vegan grandmothers?
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe Sailesh can let you share your screen.
Okay.
You should
And,
be able to know.
I should
yeah.
now. Okay. Should
Yeah.
be.
I think we're live now.
Let's-
Actually.
Great.
There we go.
Look at this.
That's nice.
So the grandmothers gave me the idea to use the flag on there.
Hmm.
So
Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
everyone. This is part of the news story. Maybe all farms can be sanctuary farms someday. Thank you.
Thank you. Liz, would you like to share?
My goodness, thank you all so much. Charity, that was so fun. And Dr. Rao, it's such a pleasure to be here once again. Thank you, Tammy, for putting on this Million Vegan Grandmothers group, because it certainly has been a catalyst of great opportunity and change, participating and stirring up the magic. So we're going to stir up some more magic coming up. We've talked about creating a grandmother's cookbook. So thinking of ourselves as grandmothers, sharing a family recipe, thinking of your grandmother, maybe a recipe you can veganize, or just being a friend of a grandmother and having a fun recipe you'd like to share. We will probably post something online soon to give you details about it, but what we would like to do is get the text and the images and compile recipes from around the world that represent the Million Vegan Grandmothers mission and goals, and give you a taste of what's available around the world. So, and show how our veganism is spreading and spreading the love through good food. So we will get to that soon. I'm looking forward to it, and have some prototype concepts for the cover and layouts and all that kind of stuff, and would love to share that perhaps maybe at the next VCOP meeting. We'll have that ready to roll. But in the meantime, the stories we tell, we've got some recipe stories. So please start thinking about a fabulous recipe that you'd like to share, a vegan recipe, maybe something veganized. I was sharing a story recently. My grandmother, neither one of them, of course, were vegans, right? But she used to like to serve an Easter glazed ham, and I mastered a vegan spring glazed ham, and I serve it with my other grandmother's angel biscuit recipe. So thinking of both of them, my grandmothers, and making a new world by substituting the animal-based products with plant-based, and showing that you can really have it all again. So let's celebrate. Let's take the next 2 years to really share and celebrate the good food in our lives. Share and celebrate. It's time to party to the finish line, and bring us your recipes. We want to put you in the collage of Million Vegan Grandmothers in our publication and get the love out there soon. All right. So thank you all so much for what you do to make this special place. I'm so grateful and so excited, because I know we're stirring up the magic, and I know that change is coming, but it is one heck of a challenging job. But we're doing it. Every time I feel discouraged, I'm like, oh, they're talking about meat again. But you know what? They're leaning in that direction, right? We're not getting the flush, full deck of cards that we want to see right out the bat, but we're getting signs that change is coming. And it's not too much longer, and that third leg of the tripod's going to be knocked out, and the floodgates will open. So I believe, I see it coming, and change happens. You guys, my grandfather, by the way, was a tobacco broker. All right. And things changed. Things changed in a hurry. We used to buy cigarettes in cartons at the pharmacy down the street from here. Things changed. Maybe now you'll have to go to customer service, because they're going to keep the animal products locked up for those people who still can't get what they need. They're going to have to ask customer service to access it. It's probably not going to go away in our lifetime 100%, but I believe when I walk in the grocery store, use that power of positive thinking and imagery, because when you look at the grocery store shelves, we've got to imagine those animal products, all that square footage being turned over for exciting, new, simple, healthy, plant-based foods. So lots of cooking lessons, lots of food sampling, lots of sharing the love in the kitchen coming up in the next 2 years. We're going to be cooking.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah.
Your excitement for food and veganizing food is so and very, very soon Liz is going to have a food book out, a black belt in tofu. We have a lot of grandmothers here that are foodies and amazing food preppers. And so we're just asking if there's an amazing recipe that your grandmother made that you veganized, share it, or just one of your favorite recipes, or maybe a favorite recipe of your grandchildren's, that you've already veganized. But yes, we're collecting recipes right now. And by the end of the year, we're hoping to have the first ever Million Vegan Grandmothers food book. Might be a series. And speaking of amazing chefs, Reverend Beth Love, I don't know how much you're missing food, but I know you've done a 2-week water fast at True North. And you're still sitting here with a great big smile in front of us. So we know that we don't starve if we just take a break from food for a little bit. We actually reset our epigenetic blueprint. And would you like to share, Reverend Beth Love? And if you haven't taken any food classes from Reverend Beth Love, please do. She's an amazing, tastes like love. Yeah. And she presents her food so beautifully. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Tammy, and just really love what I've been hearing and love being part of this illustrious company. I kind of got set up for what I wanted to share. Thank you, Judy and Liz. In terms of stories we tell, one of the practices I do, I'm in my religious tradition is New Thought, which is in the same tradition as Unity that Judy was talking about. And I think one of the most powerful things that the New Thought movement brings to our community is that we do create our experiences and our reality through the stories that we tell ourselves, and the thoughts that we hold on to. The thoughts that just kind of move on through, we just let them keep going. That's one thing. But the thoughts we hold on to, the things we keep chewing on and talking about over and over, is how we create our experience and ultimately our reality through collective consciousness. And so, the story I keep telling myself when I find my mind going toward like this blaming posture about, animal agriculture, or the corporations, or, kind of this blaming space, I just pull back and I start really thinking and envisioning into, as Liz was saying, this human presence on Earth that our main goal is the thriving of all life within the habitable boundaries of our beautiful planet. And as I do that, I feel like I'm a better part of the solution than if I'm railing against it. I also wanted to share about, like in terms of the games we play a part, I think for myself, a lot of times I don't necessarily call it games, but I'm always wanting to strategize like you do in a game, right? I'm always wanting to strategize, like, how can we make this movement crank? Like, what can we do that can have the biggest impact? And one of the things that my organization, Eat for the Earth, has arrived at is that we really think it's important to work both with the people, with the individuals, win hearts and minds, get more people in this movement. So that's why we do, the cooking classes, the potlucks, the immersion programs, things like that. But we also need to work on systems change. So I'm really excited. One of our big systems change projects coming up is that we're having a conference in October. It's a one-day food as medicine conference, and the target audience is healthcare providers, both in our area and elsewhere. We're especially hoping to get a lot of locals there. We'll be able to fit up to 250 participants, and then we'll have a virtual aspect where we can, reach others as well. And Dr. Michael Clapper is coming, who has made his whole career in many recent years in teaching medical students and teaching doctors about whole food plant-based eating and the importance of getting their patients to eat properly so they can be healthy. And so we have Dr. Clapper coming, and Dr. Columbus Batiste, who is a cardiologist in Southern California, and then a lot of our local plant-based docs as well. And I'm just so excited about it, because if we can make these changes in these systems that are perpetuating the status quo, that's where we can really make a big impact. So yeah, that's a game I'm playing right now, is like, how many healthcare providers can we get there, and how can we through getting a lot of local providers there, how can we really transform the way medicine is practiced in our county and then see the health changes in our county as a result. So I just really appreciate the invitation to be here, Tammy, as always. And thank you, everybody.
Can you put that link in the chat, Beth, for that one day?
The conference?
Yes.
Yes.
So is it going to be televised or is it just for health providers?
We are going to let other people participate, of course, but our primary targets, our first is health providers and healthcare providers, and then our second is students who are studying medicine or nursing or something like that. Instead of putting a link in the chat, because the website is this close to ready, but we're still working on the CMEs, the continuing medical education units, I'll just put my email in the chat, and then anyone who's interested can email me, and I'll send them the link as soon as it's ready.
Right.
Okay. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth. Lisa, would you like to share?
You're still muted, Lisa.
I have something that I would share. It's kind of like a march. It's like a march, and it has to do with living in kind of living in a time when we've accomplished what we're trying to accomplish. And it could take like 5 minutes to read. I don't know if that's too much time.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So here we go. It's called "This is the Way We Harness the Future." My dear ones, we've all been sufficiently schooled. Do not forget, we know what we know. We know what we resist persists. This is the very moment to turn the tide of what we abhor by saying thank you as a response. We say thank you with as much fervor as the future has requested. We say thank you at the top of our lungs. We say yes to this opportunity for being the ones we've been waiting for. This is the moment when our power is proven to be within arm's reach. It is time for our collective enlightenment to soar, to leapfrog over the backs of the Goliaths of greed and the industry of the other. Imagine all the people living for the day. We are schooled in this. We know why Buddha came west. We know that on the quantum level, we are not separate. We know that the outbreath of the trees is our in-breath, and that our outbreath is their work. We know that iron in our blood is galactic, and we know that the plants talk to each other, and that we are learning each other's languages. We know the families of the foxes are ready for the squirrels whose numbers swell in response to the acorn crop the year before. We know the salmon swim upstream against all odds to spawn, and that it's pairs of eagles that share in raising their chicks. These are our teachers, and they belong to each of us equally. We know these things. We know them as impeccable laws because they are the laws that belong to us without ever having to earn them. We need not fight for them. Say thank you. Say thank you to this moment. Say thank you to the haters. Say thank you to the trauma that knocks on your deepest door. This is the time to go back to the land, to borrow, to share, to celebrate, to know each other beneath the skin, under the rocks, under the separation sold to us by the industry of otherness. Say thank you. Twist it into upward formations. Paint it into existence by the deep civility known the world over. The land awaits for collaboration and for us, the people of all colors, to come to her. May new opportunities rise from our thank yous. May we create jobs and honor our mother. May city streets be lined with fruit trees planted for the people. We will learn the soil, design our gardens, shape with our hands, then lift our yields toward each other. May we apply what we have learned at the last lecture, the self-awareness retreat, the treatise, or the Kama Sutra. Let us draw from our collected knowledge of ninjutsu, the drag show, the teddy bear's picnic, the skateboard park, and let us bring chickpeas to Wall Street, plant beans along the guardrails, harvest pears from our sidewalks, sow grains from the seeds that await in hiding. Ferment your beets, bake your bread to never break again alone. Share to share, then sharing, then sharing, then sharing, then sharing, then sharing, then giving thanks again. Thank you, we will turn the tides. Thank you, we will beat the drums. Thank you, we will pluck the sitar, blow the bagpipes, strike the hollow pipeline. We will play the kazoo, whistle on the wind, sound the trumpets, slap the spoons on our thighs. We will keep moving, keep moving, keep moving forward, and tap, tap, tap into the future of our confidences together. Those who shall remain nameless will not know how to respond to the final and exhausted whiff of the age of greed coming to its end. They will not know how to recognize what has come and what has gone. Their party's over and their sanitized lawn is littered with plastic spoons and party hats. They are drunk and need to sleep off the poisons they've ingested. Let them rest. Those who shall not be named will be confounded. And my friends, this will buy us time to quietly turn away. We pledge to remove our attention from them. We pledge to turn off the TV, set down our devices, and get to work. We create with urgency what we know is possible. We pivot from the spell of unkindness, and we leave with sadness those that will not follow, those who choose for themselves the fallen remnants of another time. We blindside them by ceasing to acknowledge what they are selling another moment longer. We are going elsewhere to learn the skills of resilience. Let us make it sudden and with conviction, with the knowing we feel in the fibers of our being. Let us remember that there is something bigger and more amplified in its scope of positivity than history has ever known before. We will find in each other what we need to be happy. Look inside the person next to you. Look inside the animal you come upon. This is your reflection. Say thank you, say thank you, say thank you. At this instance, in the evolution of our spectacular species, we raise our glasses to our neighbors, to the animals, to the sky, to the perfect symbiosis of life on Earth. We've installed ourselves for this moment. Here we are in the streets with a direction home. We are schooled in this. The spell is broken, the spell of coming and of going, before and after, less and more. The spell of walls, the spell of lack, the spell of disparity, the spell of cynicism. The spell of injustice is over. We are aware, we are awake, we are aware, we are awake. Thank you. The future is ours. You can't take it.
Wow. Lisa, where is that from?
I sat up in bed, like in the middle of COVID when I was going out of my mind with loneliness. And I literally woke up and typed it with my eyes closed. That verbatim.
Wow.
It was like I've never channeled anything, but I channeled it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't believe you've been with the grandmothers after that time and I haven't heard it. We haven't heard it yet. So thank you.
I
That
just
was so beautiful and so perfect. That is the perfect story.
Yeah, it's a good story. Yeah. I just ran to the car to fetch it. I thought, oh, for goodness sakes, just show up. So anyway, I had one copy in the car. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me and encouraging me to do that.
Wow. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Deborah?
Well, that was elevating, to put it mildly. I can't wait to read it again. Thank you so much. And I was just thinking back on something that, who was it? The Unity, yes. Myrtle, what's Myrtle? That, did you know that Alice Paul, who was one of the lead suffragists, was a vegetarian? Many of them were. And when they were put in prison and force-fed, it was meat they were force-fed. They were fed the food of violence. In the great film about the suffragists, Iron-Jawed Angels, they don't mention that. It's something you have to dig for because I guess it was considered inconvenient or irrelevant. Yeah, stories. My husband and I have had a website for many, many years called Teach with Movies, and I also taught at Palisade High School's alternative school with high school kids, and found that we had to give them an English class. We gave them a lot of expository or, non-fictional information, and we got them to read good stuff. But when we got to short stories and we got to novels, something opened up a little bit further. I think that's the magic of fiction. And the same analogy I see with documentaries and feature films. And I'm still, a year later, trying to find someone to make a film from a truly great and prescient novel called Sounding that Tammy has read, about a whale searching for peace and communication with humans and a stranded Russian submarine off the US coast. And everything about it's remarkable. The dialogue, the whale mirroring our questions and coming up with things like, why do humans get so furious if we fight back? They seem to be almost as intelligent as orcas, and a little bit more violent than orcas, although sometimes they will help us. And so the sonar officer, who's a failed musician, and the sperm whale are drawn to each other through sound, and they're both desperate for various reasons. And the ending of the book is very upbeat. And it's really a break through the species barrier to connect. And I think that's where where I find my magic in choosing to try not to cause harm, is that you break through a barrier that our species has set up and extended for so many years between us and the other and the animals. And that moment of connection with another human, with an animal, whether you're protecting or feeling the light pass between the two of you, is truly magic. And so I was just thinking when I heard about when Anita was talking about, because I think a lot about slaughterhouse workers and what we've done to them. And when Anita said that some of them come to the vigils, my heart melted. And I thought, wouldn't that be a great story for someone to fictionalize, to talk about something like that? And since The Octopus Teacher and Cy Montgomery's great book on octopuses, it's time. Oh, I did just recently skim a novel about an older woman who was a caretaker at an aquarium and an octopus that she formed a bond with, and the octopus's feelings towards her. And I thought, we just need to be telling these stories, telling them orally, aloud, telling them in books, what's that wonderful comic book? It is fiction. There's a cow in my dream. There was a cow in my dream. Who did that? The kids, the woman who leads the kids, veggie kids. I've forgotten. But anyhow, I think we just have to keep telling these stories. And it's not just that we want to stop injustice. We want the joy of that connection. And that's what comes to people who choose to step back from trying to cause harm. And that's the big bonus that not everybody talks about when we talk about what happens to us. It's kind of like the floodgates open, and all this everything becomes much more liquid and free flowing, and the sense that pig is your brother, that person across the world, Mohammed, who met me at a zoo protest and said he goes in all the time to check on the condition of the elephants and all the other animals in the zoo. Connection across culture, against species, through species. And I just think that the more stories we tell, the faster we'll get there.
Thank you so much, Deborah. And Deborah has a website, Teaching with Movies. And
Teach with Movies, right?
With movies, and she's was a teacher, and the power of film. I mean, they say that more people have become vegan through film than any other way, film and documentaries. And
Yeah, and I
So-
think, and we've talked about this, that the fictional and the expository, or the documentary and the fictional film, feed and enhance each other. Both formats are really, really useful. And in fact, I did show a wonderful film to one of my classes called The Music Within, about the disability rights movement. And the kids had read some articles about it, but when we showed the film with these wonderful characters and, you know, what the change in societal attitudes, several of them said it was the best experience of their year. So yeah, film is very powerful because you're the protected participant in the action and you're in the fourth corner of the room. So it's a very interesting way to feel a lot emotionally. And for those of us who are text people reading, you know, and feel safe while you're trying out these new thoughts and reacting to these feelings. And I'm excited about the games. I didn't get to hear everything that he said, but literally video games, is that what's coming up? Video games for this, I mean, yeah, that's fantastic. Maybe some of us will learn to play video games. Grandmas, grandpas.
With our grandkids, the real games.
Right.
Thank you. Well, we're going to end with Judy's video that she's asked us to play, and I will just, there's just a few moments for myself, and I just wanted to share a little bit about the story of the germ theory versus the terrain theory. So my first book, after I went away to a few wellness centers, including True North, I realized it was definitely the terrain theory. I didn't have to worry about the inflammation in my gut if I put in the right things and ate the right things and had enough peace, love, and what I call happy microbes. My body would take care of itself because the body is a self-healing organism. And Dr. Gabriel Cousens, who I had the honor to study with for many years as well, along with many other integrative physicians who are teaching whole food, plant-based, mostly raw nutrition, said that the number one thing, though, for any of this is self-love. And what is self-love? I mean, it seems very conceptual. But the other day, a friend of mine is writing a new book. Her first book was called Marrying Myself. She's a vegan. She has the the Vegan Posse podcast, I think it's called. It's really great. But I was thinking about self-love, and I knew a self-love that was far beyond concept at one point. And I just wrote this little song. So I just wrote this little poem. So I think I'll end with this, and then we will end with Judy's video, and there might be a few minutes for Q&A. Mother Earth, a self to love. I have a distant memory of a non-conceptual self-love, a non-thought form love of self, a freedom, if you will, an inner compass of care. When the crazy emotions were overkill, I knew Mother Earth awaited at my door, and I stepped into her, upon her, and I was taken in. All crazy evaporated from my flesh, my aura, my eyes, from the human pain indoors, inside the domain they called my home. I picked buttercups and clover and rolled over greener grass. I climbed trees and hid like a bird without a word. She held me deep inside her pulse. I played in the river. She washed me. I danced my fingers through the pollywogs. She transformed them into hopping beings, so I hopped with them. She taught me how to forage wild blueberry and red clover. Then I found a feathered friend to play Red Rover, calling Raven over. They said I had a good imagination. I call her my mother nation, a great exhalation in a world gone mad. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Million vegan grandmothers and growing. And Judy Carmen sent. Yes.
DJ wants to say
Rebecca,
something.
please. Yes, Rebecca, thank
Yeah,
you.
but-
I didn't see you up earlier, and I didn't have my screen on because I had my poem on, so thank you.
That's quite all right, my dear. I came on at the last minute because Debbie reminded me I'm a former teacher also, of what was so moving with the class that I did. Of course, I started different classes differently, but this one class was all about love at the very first day and loving themselves, and they hugged each other and they hugged themselves. And also that was the semester that we adopted some baby kittens from the shelter that didn't have a mother. So every 2 hours we had to feed them and help them use the bathroom. And so that went on, and it helped bind the class together so that when I see those students out there, there's sort of more of a bond than some where we didn't have that animal connection. And I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, BJ. And BJ is one of our grandmothers. We don't have to be a biological grandmother. We just have to show up with maybe a few years of understanding things a little deeper than we might have in the beginning. So, and Sailesh is a million vegan grandmother, grandfather. Would you like to say a couple of words, Sailesh, before you play the video?
Sure. I mean, these stories reminded me of Glenn Mercer. He's writing he's written a fictional screenplay, to promote our movement, but it's very subtle. He's done it in a beautiful way. I'm sure he's going to talk about it later. But reading it, there was one sentence that the character says that stuck with me. It says that the world is not such a terrible place as long as you look at it wrong. And that's what all of us are doing. We're looking at the world all wrong, And it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I'll play Judy's, leave some time for Q&A.
Stylish. This was done by Julie Griffin. She's reading from my book, Homo Ahimsa, and she just does such a beautiful job. So thank you, Julie. I think you're here.
Okay.
Hello, greetings, and welcome to The Golden Rule in Action, a message of hope from Judy McCoy Carmen, author of Homo Ahimsa, Who We Really Are and How We're Going to Save the World. Is the land that we dream of really somewhere over the rainbow and far away? Or could it be closer than we've ever imagined? Could it be right here in our own hearts waiting? Think about it. We all love the golden rule. We all vote yes on loving one another. Our souls long for that love because that's who we really are. Yet our hearts ache when we look around at the damage Homo sapiens has done. Dogs and donkeys and bluebirds did not pollute our Earth Mother's waters, air, and land. They did not cause the extinction of millions of beings. They do not slaughter trillions of animals of the land and sea every year for food. No, Homo sapiens does that. We do that. We are being called now to save our sacred earth and her children from us. It's time to answer the call. The earth-saving news is this: we are in control. If we cause the destruction, then we can choose to change and become the healers. But only if we awaken to who we really are. Our true and holy nature is Ahimsa, the Sanskrit word for non-harm. We are Homo Ahimsa, and we have the power to stop the violence and domination for good. But to do that, we have to liberate our inner Ahimsa and give it full, free, fiery, and joyful expression. We are golden beings of light, with the golden rule to illuminate our path. We are here now to be the prophesied new humanity coming into form. Ours is the way of beauty, universal motherhood, infinite compassion, and selfless unconditional love for all sacred life. Our destiny is to live in loving partnership with all the members of our family, the animals, the forest, the waters, the people. Homo Ahimsa says no to tyranny, no to the killing and eating of animals, no to slavery and war, and yes to loving and treasuring every leaf, every stone, and all of our relations. Vegan Ahimsa living is the golden rule in action. It is divine love in action. Let us come home to our true hearts and be who we really are. Homo Ahimsa. Amen. And Namaste, vegan. On behalf of Judy McCoy Carmen and the Interfaith Vegan Coalition, this is Julie Griffin. We bid you peace.
I just kind of seen a sort of question in the chat, because I know we don't have that much time for questions, but we do have a minute or so. Somebody had asked if we raised our children vegan and if they're raising our grandchildren vegan. And I know that a lot of us, I don't know about Judy, whether she raised her kids vegan. I didn't raise my children vegan. I became vegan when my kids were almost adult, and they're not really my grandchildren vegan. But we have lots of conversations around it, mostly with my grandchildren, and everyone here will have a different story about that. It's very challenging, and yeah, so yeah, thanks.
Thank you. We're going to have to spend some of the time in between to get our technical stuff ready. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, grandmothers. Thank you, everyone.